Oh, hey, just doing a little Parsva Bharmanasana there. Turned or sideways table pose, we could call that in Sanskrit. It's a pretty interesting pose, might be worth looking at a little further in depth. Just in all fours, and that's your table pose, Bharmanasana. You do the turn, that's your Parsva, okay? And it's a pose we often do in warming up. Kai, give me some room there, all right? A little bit of room, okay? Thank you, buddy. Excuse me. So it's a pose we often do warming up at the beginning of class, but I think there's a lot of subtleties maybe that are worth exploring. I notice when people are doing it in class, they tend to do it one way, and we tend to do it to stretch out the side ribs a little bit, the space between the side ribs, the intercostal muscles, and to breathe into that space, to get the spine a little more flexible, open up the breath a little bit before you get deeper into a practice. But I've been thinking about the neck part of it, and we've been talking about it a little bit in class. I notice what people tend to do is they tend to, from the side, to when they look toward their feet or their hip pulls up toward the rib cage, they tend to drop their head a lot. Now, not that that's wrong or right, but it's, if that's the only way you know to do it, it tends to be a limitation, or it becomes a little more unconscious. So just dropping your head down, your chin down toward your elbow, let's say, to look back toward your toes, that is taking forward head or neck position into it. And again, it's not wrong, but if all you can do is a forward head position in order to look around, in other words, flexion, I think you also want to be able to do it from a neutral position. So even if you were just sitting, the ability to look back, not just look down, but look out to the side, or even look up and back, so there's more extension in the movement of your neck, more of a back bend side kind of action. So let's say you were standing or sitting like I am now, and another warm-up you often do is bending to the side. And I think what you want to be able to do is to do a kind of a clean side flexion, so you're not adding forward bend into it or back bend into it, but just a clean bend to the side, flexing along the spine in that direction, including the neck. So you could also do that with flexion, bending forward, or back bend, extension onto the side. And then you just turn that parallel to the floor, and that's your table pose. So to work on that, right? Kai can do that good, can't you? I'll get him in the picture there. He's a noble dog, a good dog. So, why might that be important? Well, let's say you're wanting to, you've got a sport you're playing. Maybe you're chasing a fly ball in the outfield, and you're wanting to look back to see the ball coming over you. You're not just chasing, looking down for the ball on the ground, but it's up high, and you're trying to reach for it. Or maybe you're in your tennis game. Let's say you're going to hit a backhand, and you're reaching for it, and it's up high like that. You want to be able to do that kind of action. It could be the difference between winning and losing in your game, perhaps. Maybe you're just simply sitting in your car and you're trying to back up. You want to be able to have, that's a little bit of a twist, but it's still a side, could be a side flexion, or the ability to look back over your shoulder without having to bend forward only. Make sense? So, how do you cultivate that? Well, you might start as a warm-up. Maybe you just do a little bit of skin stimulation to help wake up that area of your body in your brain and bring it into your awareness more consciously. So you just simply rub the neck, the sides of the neck, the back of the neck. Do that for about 30 seconds along the tops of the shoulders too. Maybe you work your jaw a little bit, in and out, side to side. Those muscles of the jaw are connected into the neck. Another thing you might think about is the movements of your head are involved and connected to and limited by the movements of your eyes. So maybe you also do, let's say, some smooth pursuits, as they're called. You just follow your thumb to the side, from the midline to the side, without moving your head. So you get your eyes comfortable and used to and able to go in those directions, because it's a reflex. As the eyes go, the head will follow. If your eyes won't go there, the head is less likely to. Or, conversely, moving your eyes in that direction will tend to increase the contraction and stretch appropriately, reciprocally along the neck. So you could do some eye exercises to help free up the movement of your neck. You could connect it to the breath as well. And some other areas you might notice this movement in, I was just thinking of, like when you're in down dog and maybe you're doing wild dog or wild thing, and you are inverted, you do the flip of your hips out to the side. Where does your head go? Does it go into flexion? That's fine to be able to do that, but maybe you also want to bring the neck into extension, the head back. That also involves the thoracic spine too, so any movements you can do to create more mobility and movement in your thoracic spine would be helpful too. So maybe cat-cows. You do a few rounds of cat-cow, and then you go into your cat-cow and you're working the thoracic spine, working your eyes. And then maybe you notice in your pose you can also just have a neutral neck and rotate your head. Just rotating around the axis of your neck, okay? You can also do the flexion and extension, of course, but also you can do a side flexion of your ears, of your neck, drawing your ear toward your shoulder, kind of keeping your face more parallel to the floor. So any or all of those could then combine together into your shortened side body. Maybe you lift your head up, you could rotate, you could tilt, you could look back, you could have different degrees of all of those actions, all right? As well as another action you could do is just turning your head to the side, deliberately flexing and extending through the neck. Again, you can add the assist of your eyes. Maybe you just keep your head in one position and move your eyes up and down, or back, forward. In this case, it's kind of the descriptors are a little reversed there in this head position, but moving your eyes around, and let that help you to move your head to these different positions. So it's more or less extension or flexion, and you can see how in your down dog that could apply there, or is it flexed? So I think it's good to be able to work all those different positions consciously, being aware of the one that you're doing, and see if that doesn't free your neck up and expand your vision, your possibilities. All right, give that a try. Namaste.